Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video, we're going to be going over my first impressions driving my brand new 2022 Subaru WRX. This is literally the second time that I've been driving this car beyond my trip home from the dealer. If you watched the first video, this is the video that predated this. I'm driving to go film the first video that you actually saw when I announced the car. And you guys are gonna get raw driving impressions. There are 37 miles on the dash right now. Those miles, I bought it with 3. Those miles were literally driving this car home. And we're gonna go over everything that is first impressions, all my raw off the cuffs. And if you're not familiar with exactly what I am driving, then let's roll that little intro that I have so you can see my beautiful red Subaru WRX. Let's roll it now. Driving this car is honestly just not what I expected. It's a wonderful car. It is so much fun to drive, but I think the best way to describe my initial off-the-cuff feeling with this car is it feels like I'm not driving a Subaru, but in the best of ways. Subaru's been known, especially the WRX and STI platform, for so long of being this raw driving experience that you get to enjoy and push, and you get this feedback, and you almost get like a actual level of kind of like cheapness behind the car, which has inherent value because it's done almost intentionally to provide the most feedback possible. Sounds kind of crazy to say, but like road noise and lack of like making it feel luxurious was almost intentional, or I have to imagine part of it was because it was this sports car feel. Now with this platform, the absolute opposite has occurred. Frankly, as somebody that hasn't owned a lot of like, let's say luxury cars, like I've spent, you know, significant time in Audis and significant time in nice Teslas. The reality is like the rest of my cars have been WRXs or Genesis Coupes or Miatas, and these like cars that are sold as like entry-level, tunable, fun platforms that you can do a lot to, but where they all lack, because it's not something they're supposed to deliver, is this like luxury feel. And I've got to say, the long-winded of what I'm saying is, this car feels comfortable. It feels luxurious, it feels refined, it feels like everything was done for a reason, and that reason is to make the driving experience wonderful. And look, I'm not here to, like, this isn't a comparison between the last WRX. It's just literally like, we'll start with the steering. The steering improvement on this car relative to the last version, and again, not a comparison, but relative to every car that I've ever owned, is nothing short of amazing, right? The responsiveness on the wheel, how light it is, you know, like what I'm getting from input, tactile input, you know, going side to side there even. This is wonderful, right? That's the start of it. You know, the cockpit feel has lessened a little bit, but visibility has increased. So I now, sitting correctly in this car, have a very good view of the totality around me, which makes me also feel more of a cockpit as I do things like accelerate. Then the cream of the crop, the biggest improvement specifically to the WRX, but might be the best transmission I've ever driven. The transmission in this car, as a manual, and I've been in a lot of manuals, right? I have driven a lot of cars in my, you know, lifetime of enjoying this platform and enjoying cars and just in general. This is by far, from a, let's say, design, comfort, just functionality, the best. I mean, there's no comparison. Now, I'm strictly talking the total assembly minus the clutch. That is my only complaint. Why is my complaint the clutch? I think that the catch point of the clutch is way too high. I understand why they did it. I'm just used to having to really throw some leg behind the clutch. But it makes sense for your average consumer why they did it this way. It's a very comfortable way to drive. I guess I just miss having to really throw my leg down and the like mechanical effort and feeling of doing that. It's still there, but I don't want to lose that the transmission and shifting in this car is freaking wonderful. Massive surprise for me. So nice, I have to say. Like, truly, no complaints. I think my other large first impression here, and again, this is more of a comparison to the V8 WRX, but just how well the gearing has been done in this car. I think one of the bigger complaints that I've had with a lot of cars are like, how does the car act in first gear? How does it act in second gear? Where's the power band? How does that make the comfort of driving act? And I have to say, Subaru has been able to figure that out with this car, and I am still in the break-in period, so I haven't thrown the car around as much as I should want to. You know, like at 1,000 miles in the next oil change, I will go ham and see, you know, how does it act under duress? But without doing that, they've really solved the comfort of driving. You know, I mean, this is, without a doubt, right? This is probably the most cumulative, best way to describe my first impression. This is without a doubt the most comfortable and luxurious car I've ever owned, and it sounds crazy. It sounds absolutely crazy that I'm saying that, 100% without a doubt. I just, that's the feeling that I get. I will also say, from a driving standpoint, you know, my first impressions of this car, again, I haven't pushed it the way that I think a lot of you guys were hoping I would have at this point. I haven't pushed it to the fact that, like, I haven't tested the limits of the stock tune, let's say. But I am cautiously optimistic that it feels a heck of a lot faster than the last generation WRX. And we know with the dyno numbers that this car is not slow, and the power delivery and what people are showing as wheel horsepower, I mean, this car with the right drivers lined up, like, it should be beating, for sure, V8 WRXs, but it should be beating STIs as well. I mean, let's give it a little gas here. So again, I'm not flooring it, but it's got some pickup, you know, it's got some pickup. But it's quicker than I expected. We'll leave it at that. I don't want to speak too soon, but so far it's quicker than expected. Maybe that's the juxtaposition of coming from the Miata. I'm just not sure yet, but it's a nice car. I will also say, you know, I've only used the stereo system and the like infotainment twice now, but it's working really well, and I've always had complaints with Subaru's head units and infotainment systems, the sound quality. While this isn't a Harman Kardon, I've got to say, I'm pleasantly surprised with what my base model WRX has delivered. And I've done some more research. I was so on the fence between the base model and the premium because of the stupid screen. And I'm so glad I went with the base, because after using it, at least for the 2 times, first off, I actually like the way the split screen looks. From a filming perspective too, having the matte finish around it, so much better than the gloss, just from a filming perspective. I know most people don't care about that. But the usage space of like the CarPlay and everything, the size isn't that much different, and from a usability standpoint, it's so similar. So I don't really have any complaints there. So guys, I know this was a fairly unstructured video, but it's unstructured for a reason. These are my raw thoughts. We literally just drove around town, my first time driving the car without purpose of just driving it home from the dealer, you know, and it's something. You know, these are just the things that are, the spitball things that are coming to my mind as I drive the car. And, you know, we're gonna go so in depth on this vehicle about all my thoughts, because I've done that with the last generation. So there's a huge amount of comparison and just knowledge transfer that I can provide, just because I've done so much of it with the V8 generation. But I have so many plans with this car, and I kid you not, I mean, it's been a couple days with the car, and I'm calling every manufacturer I can get a phone number for, trying to figure out when parts are going to be in stock. I think wheels are going to be something that I do sooner rather than later, as I try to figure out when or if I'm going to paint match, and whether I want a paint match or actually go with like a gloss black or something, because actually the difference in colors are growing on me. But there's going to be so much happening with this car. I'm so excited. You guys should buckle on for the ride, because we are going to be doing some fun stuff. That is a promise. That is not a statement. That is a promise. Well, it is a statement, but it's a statement of fact. So I'm going to go take some thumbnail photos. I will see you guys in the next video. We are going to be at 1 video a week for the next couple weeks, and then we are going to speed up back to our 2 videos per week schedule. I just needed to get ahead a little bit with this car because I am still experimenting with it and getting to know it, and parts are hard to come by. So we are going to speed up here, and it should get pretty rewarding pretty quickly. I'm excited, and I will see you guys in the next one.